Okay, folks, so we're going to run through the app. Now, you may well have got this open on your mobile device, and if you do, it's going to look a little bit like this when you're on there. So you'll have the app open. At the very top, you'll have a direct link to Samaritans or the Hub of Hope. Below that's going to be Shout. Then you'll have mental health first aid resources. Then you'll have access to the newsletters. And then down at the bottom here, you'll see that you've got a home tab. Oops, you've got a home tab. You've got contacts, and then you've got insights. Right, for the ease of this though, I'm going to move now to the desktop version so you can actually get into this on your laptop devices. So let me share the screen, and it's exactly the same. If you go and search for the Mental Health First Aider app, you'll be able to find it and you'll be able to open it up on your screen. So what we've got then is we can see now that where we had on our phones with regards to the app, we've got exactly the same, but it's laid out ever so slightly differently because we've now got it on the desktop version. So you'll see at the top of the screen here, we've got the home, which you'll find at the bottom of your screen on the Mental Health First Aider app on the bottom left. In the middle of the bottom of your screen on your mobile device, you'll have contacts. The bottom right, you'll have insights, and then this is the list of tabs you've got in the central part of your phone. So let me run through these for you. So if at any point, if you are having a conversation with somebody and you need to reach out if they're in crisis, suicidal crisis, you've got access here to both the Samaritans and Shout. Now, if you were to click on the Samaritans, what it's doing, if you look, it opens up a new tab on my laptop. And you've got all the details here about contacting the Samaritans to hand. Yep, and so you've got the number there. It's 116 123. That's 116 123. To be perfectly honest, you could save this number in your phone if you wish to. Just save it under the Samaritans, the 116 123, if you ever felt that you need it. And some people don't realise actually that you can actually email the Samaritans as well. So some people do email the Samaritans on occasion, but it opens up a new page and it'll do exactly the same when you're in your Mental Health First Aider app. What it'll do is it'll open up a new page to be able to bring all these details up. So let's go back. Shout. So what we've got here is tech support from Shout. So this is the number. So if you click on that tab when you're in your app on your phone, or if you're on your desktop, once again it'll go through to the Shout texting number, and to start a conversation, text the letters MHFA to 85258, and that'll open up a texting conversation direct to Shout. And so you'll get put in touch with an intervention trained specialist there. So both will do these. So you've got your Shout and you've got Samaritans. So if you ever find yourself in a crisis, that is going to be able to help you out with those two things there. So that's your Shout and that's your Samaritans. Now what also you've got in your Mental Health First Aider app is a thing called the Hub of Hope. Now the Hub of Hope essentially has all the support agencies or mental health services, etc., peer support groups, in fact, that are local to where you are now. Now, it's coming up here saying help deciding this kind of support you need. So you've got support need A to Z here, for example. I'm going to skip that because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you here what we're doing. So I'll reject those there. And this is the same when you open it up in the phone. It's slightly different layout when you open it up in the phone because it's in a more vertical layout when it's on there because of the size of the screen on your phone. But what it will do is it'll allow you to search services that are closest to you to begin with, and then working out further from where you are. So you can put your postcode in. I'm going to put a postcode in here of Stockport. So I'm going to put a postcode of Stockport there, and then look at this. When I put that postcode in there of SK5, everything that's closest to me at this minute in time comes up first. So I've got Stockport Armed Forces and Veteran Breakfast Club, for example. And then we're going down the screen. You've got Narcotics Anonymous. You've got Cafe Chill and Spill. You've got Boost. You've got Forward Support LGBT Plus Centre. You've got James Leeson Counselling. You've got Self Help Stockport. all the local service, well, all the services that are closest to you will come there first. And you can sort these by relevance as well. So it's either relevance or distance, but it depends on what kind of services you're asking for. So can you see this filter here? You've got the same when it comes to your phone. So if you have a look at this now on the left hand side where I've just opened up the filters, say for example you were having a conversation with somebody and they were experiencing anxiety. So if they're experiencing anxiety, you can click on that tab, and now what it's done is it will filter everything that's connected to the topic of anxiety. So it'll take everything else out. So it's here, and it said, if you see, have a look underneath here. So can you see where we've got boost? So underneath here, what they help and support with is anxiety, abuse, depression, loneliness, and trauma. So it will have the tabs of what they help and support with: self-help, Stockport, anxiety, advice and guidance, depression, panic attacks, self-harm, therapy. Then we've got the open door, which is the next one that's listed here. They've got a bit more going on for them. So they've got anxiety, advice and guidance, bipolar disorders, depression, ethnicity and diversity support, hearing voices, which is psychosis, LGBT plus support, and neurodivergence. So what you can see on this then when it comes to the Hub of Hope, and you don't need to be in your mental health first aider app necessarily to search on the Hub of Hope. You can actually do it through your browser and the Hub of Hope will come up. So if I take that filter off and click that one off, I don't know, let's have a look at all of these down here. Look at them all. You've got all sorts of support. He says, if I can get that to move. Where are we? Don't need that. Oh, there we go. Right, support A to Z. Right, so if you look at all of this, you've got everything. So under A, under B, you've got bereaved by suicide. C, there's got nothing listed there. You've got deaf, hearing, dementia, depression. You've got eating disorders. You've got financial difficulties, frontline staff. There's a whole array. Get in there, have a nosy at it all. Have a look at all the different types of support you've got in there, yeah, if you need them. So if you're having conversations with people, you can really narrow this down very specifically to be able to help and support those individuals, yeah? So that's what we've got there. So let's get out of that. Let's get out of that. I don't know why that's all come up. And let's get back to the app again. So that's your Hub of Hope. Now, also in your Mental Health First Aider app, you've got a load of resources that you can get access to quite quickly. This is both on your phone and this is both on your desktop version of it. So key resources will come up to begin with. So as you can see here, being a mental health first aider, your action plan, do you remember your algae action plan? That's in here if you ever want to have a look at it again. If you're a youth mental health first aider, you've got some information there. Your youth action plan, community and health, there's some clips in here, film clips, how to be mental health first aiders can support communities. I'm not going to go through it all, but there's a whole rake of stuff of some key learning resources, key helpful resources, sorry, there. But you can go to view all resources, and if you have a look at this, and this now opens up a huge bank of resources that are available to you, and they come under the banners of self-care, workplace resources, LGBTQ+, exclusive mental health first aider resource, lived experience, eating disorders. You can see, I'm not going to read them all out. You can see all these tabs up here. So if you were to pick one, say it was like recovery. So, and as people are in recovery from different types of mental health conditions, then it'll just edit out or everything else, and it'll bring up the resources when it comes to being about recovery. Or, for example, we can go to self-harm. So we can unclick that one, and we've got a video about self-harm that's a lived experience, say, for example. So there's a huge amount of resources, and once again, I encourage you to get in there, yeah, and have a look at it and see how you get on with it, yeah, with regards to this one. Now, what else you've got in here are your newsletters. Now, your newsletters, I think these run back for about a year, if I recollect correctly. A little bit more than that, to be fair. They go back 2 years. So you've got 2 years worth of newsletters here. Now, you as a mental health first aider, you might have had one by now. I'm not sure whether you will or not. Let me have a look at that. No, maybe not. You might not have had one yet. I'm trying to think when they come out. I think they come out a little bit later in the month, and you got signed off on the 9th, didn't you? Or the 10th. So it's going to be later this month. You'll get your first one probably. And essentially, in the newsletters, you will get all the current information about what's going on, what's happening in the world of mental health first aid. And this is the one from May. And it will be talking through, and it will be talking about things that are happening and new, and what's going on with Mental Health First Aid England, and what's going on in the world of mental health, and being able to help you there. Yeah, so we've got all this going on as well. So again, you can have a look at all the previous newsletters that you've got there as well. So back to the main page then on here. So we've got all of this. So we've had a look: Samaritans, Shout, Hub of Hope, Mental Health First, Mental Health First Aid England resources, the newsletters there. If you look down here, you've got frequently asked questions as well. So down at the bottom, I think this is only available on the desktop, if I'm honest. I don't think this is available on your mobile one. So on the desktop one, you can have a look about the app. You can look at confidentiality and GDPR, technical support and accessibility you've got in there when it comes to, and you can actually type some questions in there as well. So but look at all this. So down at the bottom on your desktop version of it, I'll show you again, it's down there, some frequently asked questions, and then underneath this what we've also got is some key features, yeah, that's here as well. So this will talk you through some information about keeping track of your conversations and what that might look like, but I'm going to run through this for you now, but I just wanted to highlight that for you, yeah, that we've got that there as well for you to have a look at. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk you through how you can log conversations. Now, down on your phone, you will, at the bottom of your phone, when you're in the app, as I've said to you, right down at the bottom, you'll have in the middle contacts and then insights. So we've got contacts here on the desktop version and insights up here towards the top left. But on your mobile version of this, it will be down on the bottom tab of your phone. Now, when it comes to logging conversations, so the use of this is really, it's twofold. One is in Integral, and Danielle's been away this week on holiday, so I don't think anything's moved any forward about some follow-on training for you and what this might look like. But from Integral's point of view, they might want to know, you as mental health first aiders, how many conversations potentially you're having on a month-by-month basis as a group, what type of conversations you're having, so what topics are the most popular ones you might be supporting with, and where you might have signposted people to, just so they can have a look at it and see the effectiveness of the role of being a mental health first aider. But that's all they're going to be asking from you. They're not going to be asking any detail to identify anybody, because you can't. Under the Data Protection Act, that's something that can't happen. It's private and confidential. But also another thing that's useful for this, for logging conversations, is if you're having 2 or 3 conversations at any given time, say for example, sometimes you might get a bit mixed up who you had the conversation with about what, who you signposted someone to where and what that was about. So this is a great way of refreshing your memory if you're going to go and have a follow-up conversation, say for example. It's a good tool to use. So down at the bottom in the middle of your mobile device, but if you're on the desktop, you'll see them up here, you've got contacts. Now, if I click on here, I've got some contacts that I've been, for demonstration purposes, I've created in the past. If you click on yours will be completely blank at this moment in time. Now, to be able to create any notes, you have to create the contact first before you can add anything to that contact. So you'll see a little person with a cross on it on yours, on your mobile device version, and that is on the top right hand side of the screen on your mobile device. You'll see a little man with a cross on. Similar place it's sat on the desktop version as it will be on your mobile device. So click on there, whether you're on your mobile device or whether you're on your laptop, to create your new contact. And when you do, it'll come up like this, and it'll say name, initials, or unique identifier. Do me a favor, don't put anybody's name into this. Minimum initials, yeah, that will be a unique identifier for you. Or alternatively, you could use a numbering system and then say, for example, you have an Excel spreadsheet elsewhere that's got a password lock on it where you've got the name of the person allocated next to a number. But don't ever have this information where it can, both sets of information can be sat side by side by another party so they can identify and know what notes have been made. So I'm going to stick in here, what I'm going to stick in here today, I'm going to put ZZ as a contact. So I'm going to save that contact. Now what you'll see now, it'll take you back to the contacts page, and here's the new one that I've just created. Now if I had a conversation with ZZ and I came out of it and I was like, right, I want to make some notes so that I know where I'm at, know what was discussed, and then next time I pick up a conversation, which I agreed to with ZZ in a couple of weeks, after I've given them some information for them to have a look at, I can refresh myself before we have the conversation in a couple of weeks, and then we can go from there. So you'll see, excuse me, that you've got no conversations with ZZ currently listed. So I'm going to go up here. Oh, hang on. No, I'm not. So I'm going to go to, he says, log in a conversation. Why is that not doing that now? Oh, there we go. So can you see the cross at the bottom? You've got ZZ, and when this will be exactly the same in your phone. So if you were to go onto a contact in your phone and then click on it, it will have a little circle there. I don't know if you can see this, but it's the same as what we got on the screen. You'll see the little plus circle to the bottom right of your screen. So we want to log a new conversation. So if I go and click on that little cross there, it'll say log a reflective note. Now, if you do this in your phone, it will also ask you if you want to set a reminder with this person. So it'll say add a well-being reminder on the phone. It's somewhat slightly different. And the reason that it comes up on your phone is because more often than not, your mobile device is linked to your calendar. Does that make sense? So, but it doesn't tend to be on your laptop. So that's why it's not asking me on my laptop, because I haven't got my laptop logged to my calendar directly. Some of you might do, and if it does, it will do this on your desktop version, but on your phone for sure, more often than not, it will say, what do you want to do? Do you want to log a reflective note, or do you want to add a well-being reminder? And your well-being reminder, it will go to your calendar to remind you to have a follow-up conversation. Does that make sense? So you can then book in to follow up and have a conversation. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to log a reflective note to show you. And what you'll see now happens exactly the same on your mobile device. So we've got a date. So say, for example, I've just had a conversation, literally just now I've had a conversation. So click on, and it's now, oh, bear with me. And now it's the 18th of this month. And the conversation we've just had was 30 minutes. That's how long we've just had a conversation for. The next thing it'll ask, it'll say, what was the situation you were discussing with this person? So if I click on that situation, it'll pull up a drop-down menu. So I can say, right, well, I was talking to this person, and they're having relationship issues, and that's causing financial issues, and that's having an impact on their mental health. So it's creating a mental health issue. So I can click on that, and now if you look now, it's brought up those situations that we've been discussing. And this will remind me next time we go and have a conversation with the person. And then in that, did we signpost as a mental health first aider? So I've said, think about to them, reach out to the employment assistance program. Yeah, think about spending some more time with family and friends. And then think about some self-help strategies, and signpost them to sort of think about stress and anxiety and doing some stress reduction exercises or techniques. That's what was agreed. So that's now up there. So I want to put that in there. So when it says self-help strategies, I'm going to put signposted to, oh, hang on, let me get rid of that. Signposted to stress exercises, yeah, for them to try. So that's some notes I put in, and I'm going to save that conversation now. Now, when it comes to ZZ, if I go back to my contacts on ZZ, it's now logged that conversation. And every conversation I have, if there's any additional conversations, and add a new one, like if I add a new one, let me add a new one, and just so I can show you, log a reflective note again. I'll put today's date in as if it's just happened, and then we had another 15-minute conversation a little bit later on. The situation was we were still talking about the relationship issue. and that second conversation, and we signposted to a support group, say for example, and then we say save conversation. So now can you see these two conversations now get logged? Yeah, so they are there. So it's as simple as that. Now, when it comes to, as I said to you, the month end, you might have somebody where we set this all up in Integral, where you've got somebody that's going to support you all overall, and they might say to you, right, mental health first aiders, do me a favour, can you send to me this month some insights on the conversations you've had? So can you see this now? I've got July so far. So I've put, right, I've had 3 conversations. The average conversation has been 30 minutes in duration. The total time I've spent having conversations is 90 minutes. And the most frequent situations I've had conversations about have been 2 have been about relationship issues, 2 have been about financial issues, and 2 have been about mental health issues. And the support, most frequent signposting was support groups, EAP, and self-help strategies. Can you see how that helps and it collates that information then for people who are having a look at all of this? So that's your insights on it. If I go back to June, this is when I've been doing training before last month. That's June's insights. If you have a look at there, if I go back, there's nothing in May. There we go. April, we've got 4 conversations logged there. When I've been doing this, can you see now you can go back and have all these insights across the year of how many conversations that have been going on? Does that make sense? Yeah. So essentially, folks, that's it. As those of you that are on at the minute, have you got any questions, or do you want me to run over anything else again on here? Don't forget, this is recorded, so I am going to send it out, so you will have that opportunity to have a watch of it again. But go on, Sandra, have you got any questions or thoughts?
Yeah, just quick, couple, Peter. So some of those groups there, like kind of the local groups, do you ever just go along and just see kind of how it runs and what people get from the groups and that kind of thing, just for your own experience and you're like building your experience up?
To be honest, I've never been asked that question. It's quite a nice little question to ask. I should imagine that's entirely up to you. I don't know from a work perspective if they would say, well, do you know what? If you want to go and spend the day going around to these support groups to essentially have a look at those services, because there's so many of them. But from a personal perspective, I'd leave that up to you. What I'd do probably is first and foremost is have a look if there's any websites attached to those services
Yeah,
that are local to you, because to be perfectly honest, it depends where the person lives. Does that make sense?
mm,
So it depends where they live. So it could be that you've got your work postcode and that's local to work, but the person lives 25 miles away.
yeah,
So then you'd be putting in their postcode. Does that make sense? So
yeah,
for you then as
yeah,
a mental health first aider, good God, you might be legging it all over the place trying to have a look at all these services that are local. So geographically, that might become a little bit impossible. But from a website perspective, maybe not. So if I was supporting somebody and they would live 21 miles away, I'd put their postcode in, have a look at what's local to them, and then jump on any of those websites to those local services and just see what comes up and just see what works for them. I'd do it that way, I think.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sandra, as well, it might be worth remembering that JLL do run volunteer days.
Yeah,
So if there is one that's local to your area that you thought,
yeah,
well, I don't necessarily always want to be involved, but it might give you a little bit of information and a bit of
yeah,
experience.
yeah,
Maybe get in touch with them and kind of ask, can you do a volunteer day and just go
yeah,
down and
yeah.
help out.
Oh dear,
It's something that JLL do, isn't it? So I
yeah,
don't think a lot of people take them up on the volunteer days. So might be something just to get, like you say, that little bit of experience.
experience. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Emma. Yeah, that's really useful.
Fab. Right, listen, I'm just going to stop this recording now because that'll be enough for